What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Controlled Chaos Gaming. In today's video, we have a very awesome tutorial. I am going to show y'all how to prize check. Now, in Pokemon, it's important to prize check because these outs are not actually in your deck. So if you're playing the game and have 4 boss's orders in your deck, and you go to play that 4th one, or you go to look for that 4th one, and it's in your prize cards, you actively played to an out that's not in the deck. We're going to prevent that from checking our deck every single game to see which cards are in our prize cards. There are a lot of methods to do this, and I believe mine is one of the best ways to do this because it focuses on the most important aspects of the deck without worrying about those small, pesky little cards. So, without further ado, let's get into the deck list to see the first step of prize checking.
Hold on just 1 second there, Mr. Fish. Before we continue, we can't forget to thank our wonderful sponsors at Kayfabe Cards.
Head on over to Kayfabe Cards in Riverton, Utah for all things tabletop. This store is home to Pokemon, One Piece, Flesh and Blood, and more, selling both singles and sealed product in-store and online. You'll find their massive assortment of Pokemon plushies, sleeves, deck boxes, and other staple products. So what are you waiting for? Head on over to Kayfabe Cards. We'll see you there. Alright here, everyone. So today, when we're prize checking, I'm going to be using my Mew VMAX deck. I'm going to go through each of the steps on how to prize check properly. And the first step is laying out your deck list in sections. Now, the first section is going to be your Pokemon. So we have our Pokemon here for Mew VMAX, and what we're going to do now is we're going to count the number of each card and the total of each section. So we have 4 Genesect here, 4 Mew V, 3 Mew VMAX, 1 Meloetta, and 1 Oricorio for a total of 13 cards. Now, I do recommend if you are playing these decks at a higher rarity or not the base rarity that you try and match the arts as much as possible. You'll notice here I have 2 different Mews, which will make it a little bit more difficult to prize check quickly. On to the next section, supporter cards. All right, we're here to the supporter cards of Mew VMAX, and luckily for us, there is not that many. However, if you are playing a different deck, there might be quite a few more. So, we have a total of 2 Elesa Sparkle, 2 Boss's Orders, 1 Judge, and 1 Iono, for a total of 6 supporter cards. It's important when you're prioritizing these sections to go with your Pokemon first, then your supporter cards, and then what you'll see next is the last category that you'll want to focus on. So we have our 6 supporter cards, we have our 13 Pokemon. You'll want to remember both of those numbers as well as Section 3's numbers. Alright everyone, now we're on to Section 3 here, which is the energy cards. Now, energy cards are the lifeblood of Pokemon, but as I say, you cannot play the Pokemon without having the Pokemon in your deck. So that's why we have Pokemon as Section 1, and in order to draw those Pokemon, you need supporter cards. So that's Section 2, and in order to attack with those Pokemon, it is going to be these energy cards. So for Mew VMAX, we have 3 Double Turbos and 4 Fusion Energy for a total of 7 energy cards. Now, we're going to repeat this. We got Pokemon, 13, supporters, 6, and energy, 7. I wish there was an easier way to write these down or inform you of these, but unfortunately, because you do have to present your notepad as blank at the beginning of the match, you cannot write these down. You will have to memorize these. Now we're going to quickly go over the 4th section, which is completely optional, but I do recommend if you are playing at the highest level, like a top cut of a tournament, that you do indeed do this. Alright folks, we are here at the 4th section of the deck list. So this would be the information section that is only useful if you are playing a more difficult matchup or a matchup where it is a best of 3 where you need to prioritize winning those games 1 and 2 before time is called. So, in this section, what we do is we talk about both match-specific and deck-specific cards. Now, for Mew VMAX, there are quite a few of these, right? We have our, of course, Power Tablets, which increase the damage. This is a deck-specific card. If I am playing in a best of 3 in a matchup where Power Tablet is required, I will need to double-check the counts of this card. So that's 4, right? And this section can all be put together into one. So if you're playing against a matchup where it is a stall-based one, you are going to want to look for your switch outs, and these are going to be what you'll count. So that was 3, so that's 7 total right there. And also you will want to look at your cards like Lost Vacuum and Palpad. Again, for stall matchups, you really want to focus on those recovery cards and the disruption cards in your deck. Now, for the more active ones, a really good one is the stadium counts. The stadium counts in the deck are specifically for decks that are playing against you with a lot of stadiums. So if you're playing with a deck that has 4 Path of the Peak or 4 of any stadium, and you want to counter that stadium, then you're going to want to remember the countering stadium counts, which would be 3 in this case. So that is kind of the last steps. Of course, it is optional and does depend on which matchups you are playing and which deck you are playing. So for Mew VMAX, again, those damage modifiers, but if you're playing a deck like Ancient Box, it would be your ancient cards like Earthen Vessel. And if you are playing a deck like Arceus V-Star, it would be your one-of cards like the Choice Belts and some other interesting tech cards like that. Tech cards, of course, would also fit into this optional category, especially if those tech cards are Lost Vacuum or Box of Disaster or any of those cards that are matchup specific. If you know the matchup, you will want to look for those cards. Now that we've learned about each of those sections, I'm going to teach you guys exactly how to do a 1-to-1 prize check, how I would do it in a regional tournament or any top cut level tournament that is important. Obviously, casuals, you are welcome to practice this, but it is important to know that you are only allowed up to 2 minutes to prize check. So you need to be quick and thorough, and this method is the best way to do both. Let's get into it. All right, folks, in order to avoid cuts, we are going to do this all live. So we have a shuffled deck here, and if you want to see the shuffling tutorial, we also have that on our YouTube channel. You can go check it out in the playlists, and under tutorials, you'll find it. Okay, here we go. Gonna give the deck a cut. We're gonna draw our 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Now we have multiple basic Pokemon here. We're just going to start with this Mew here. And we'll have our hand face up so you guys can see all the cards and exactly how to prize check here. So we are going to put our prizes to the side here. And the goal for this one is to do the most important aspects of it. So we will do exactly that. Now, let's say I am going first. I'm going to draw for turn. And then we have multiple options to search the deck. So we're going to go ahead and use a Battle VIP Pass. And I'm going to do this one first slowly so that you guys can see it. And I'll do a second one at the pace that you should do it at a regional championships or a top cut level event. So we're using the Battle VIP Pass and we're looking at our hand. Now we remember the first section is Pokemon. So that is going to be our first choice here. We've got to count the field before we count the deck. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 Pokemon on the field, which means that we are looking for 9 Pokemon in the deck for that total number of 13. Now let's check the deck with that Battle VIP Pass. No illegal checks here. And we've got 1 Pokemon, and you can either do an out jog, an in jog, or you can just memorize it. I like to memorize it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 1 Pokemon prized. Now the way that this functions is we're going to now search the deck again. So we do our first pass through and we find 8. We're going to go back to the front, and now we're going to do it based on Pokemon, but you do the highest counts first. And the reason you do the highest counts first is because you have the highest odds to prize those Pokemon. So our 4 of counts are Mew V and Genesect V. So we can search for either one of those at first. We'll start with the Mew. So we're just going to pass through until we see Mew. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4 on the field. So no Mew Vs were priced. Next, we have our Genesect. So we'll push through. We've got 1. And look at that. There's no other Genesect in the deck. So that means that our Pokemon that was prized, the 13th Pokemon, is the prized Genesect V. So in our prize cards, we have a Genesect V, and now we can play around that. Next, we have Section 2. So Section 2 would be the supporter cards. Now, of course, we only had 6 of these, so I will double check that. We have 1 in hand, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have 0 supporter cards prized. This is relatively important for any matchup because of that. So now, it's about that time where you're running out of time, so it's important to prioritize. Now, prioritization doesn't mean you need to check nothing, right? You do, of course, we have multiple cards in the hand that can search cards, but our next task is going to be Section 3, which is the energy cards. And this is why I say to prioritize these 3, is because in those 2 minutes, you have to check those pretty aggressively. So, again, we're taking this nice and slow that you guys can all see it. So we're taking a look. We've got 1 in hand. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 and 7 are nowhere in the deck. So we know that we have prized 2 energies. And now we're going to go in order of most to least. So we've got the fusion energy, which we run 4 of. We'll be checking for 4 of those. So we have 1 in hand, 2, 3, and the 4th one is prized. Now, this is an interesting scenario that a lot of people don't find themselves in. It is deck specific, but we know that there are 2 energy prized, and one of them is a fusion energy. I only run 2 energy, so we automatically know it's double turbo and can stop looking. We will confirm it just so that everybody is aware. We have 1 double turbo, a 2nd double turbo, and no more. So, just confirming the already suspected, but we do now know, because we only play 2 energy, if there are 2 prized and you know one of them, but you don't know the other, then it is the other. And that goes with anything as well. If you're playing a deck with 4 Pokemon, and you search through, and you only see 3 of them, you know what the prized one is, because there's only 4 of that Pokemon. Like an Iron Thorn deck, for instance. Okay, now that we've done that, we can go through and do any deck-specific ones. So we want power tablets, for instance. Power tablets, there are 1, 2, 3, and that means we prized a power tablet if it's not in our hand. So 1, 2, 3, power tablet is prized. Okay. And that's all the specific ones that I'm going to go over for this one. Of course, you can do more if you'd like to, but this is going to be a tutorial-based one, so not going to go ahead and do the entire price check for a specific matchup, because there is no specific matchup in this case. So we are going to now confirm these. Now, you're not allowed to do this in a regionals or anything like that, but I just want to show you that we did know what our prize cards were. So we're looking for 1 Genesect V, no supporter cards, 1 Fusion Strike Energy, 1 Double Turbo, that's 3, and then our Power Tablet. So there's 2 unknowns still, but those are the less important cards depending on which matchup we're playing. So we've got the Power Tablet, we got that one right. We got the Genesect V, we got that one right. Palpad, we weren't searching for that card, but if we were searching for that card, we would have been able to find it. Double Turbo, we got that one right. Crystal Cave, again, not searching for that one, and this one should be the Fusion Energy, and it is. So exactly showing you how to prize check. Now let's do that, but a little bit faster. All right, folks, we are going to do this prize checking with no cuts here, so that you know that there are no funny business here. We are going to go ahead and do the prize check exactly like I would at a regionals. We're going to do it with speed, but also accuracy. So we're going to check those in the order: Pokemon, then supporters, then energy, and then all of your additional cards that you would like to search for. That may be a lot of things depending on the matchups. So, here we go. We're going to give it a cut. Hopefully we find a basic here. 5, 6, 7. We do have a basic. So we got our basic here. And we will put out our prize cards. And here we go. Matt, I'd like you to start a 2-minute timer, exactly what you're given at a regionals, according to the rulebook. And I would like you to start that as soon as I search for a Pokemon. So we're going to draw for turn. Okay, and remember, we've got the 13 Pokemon in the deck. We have 6 supporter cards and we have 7 energy. So we're gonna go ahead and search the deck. We have 2 on the field. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No Pokemon prized. Next supporter cards, we've got 1 on the field. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No supporters prized. Now we got energy. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have an energy prize. Nope, there's a second one in hand. I apologize. So there's no energy prize. Now we're going to look for power tablets. We've got 1 power tablet, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. So no Pokemon prize, no supporters prized, and no energy prized. Ironic, but that is what happened, and we're of course going to resolve our effect of our card that we used. That is really important because if you don't do that, you could potentially lose the game. So we're going to double check these prizes now, and it should be no Pokemon, no supporters, and no energy. So that was a really quick application of it. I'm going to try a couple more times so that you guys can see. Okay, here we are. Again, we've got our second hand. Again, we're going to do a 2-minute timer as soon as I use a search card to search the deck. So we're going to draw for turn. And we've got our Battle VIP pass here. So we've got 1 Pokemon, 1 energy, and 1 supporter in hand. So we're going to go ahead and we're looking for 12 Pokemon in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we've got 1 Pokemon prize. We're going to start with Genesect first because it's the highest count. We've got 1 Genesect, 2 Genesect, 3 Genesects, and 4. Mew V is next. Mew 1, 2, 3, and we have a Mew V prize. So Mew V is prize. Next supporter cards, we got 1 in hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1 supporter prize, so we're going to do the boss's orders first, because that's a 2 of. We got 1 boss, 2 boss. Now we're going to do Alessa Sparkle. And that one is 1. So an Alessa Sparkle's prize. So Mew and Alessa. And then we've got energy. We've got 1 in hand, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So we've got 2 energy prize. We're going to go with Fusion Energy first. We've got 1 Fusion Energy, 2, 3. So 1 fusion is prize, and that means 1 double turbo is prize. Next is power tablet. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. So no power tablets prized. Excellent. So now we grab our Pokemon that we wanted. And time. So let's take a look at our prizes. We're looking for Mew V, Alessa Sparkle, a double turbo, and a fusion energy. So we've got Mew V right there. Double turbo. Alessa Sparkle, Vacuum, we were not looking for that. Fusion Energy, and a Cramomatic, not looking for that. So we got 4 out of our 6 prizes in less than 2 minutes. That was an excellent showcase, so we showed a couple times how you can do that. And it's important, though, to know that no matter how many times you prize check, if you're not confident in it, then that is where your issues can be a problem. Now, this confidence does come with time. You will not be able to pick up the deck and immediately do this. I recommend that you practice this exactly like what I'm doing. We call it fish bowling, where you just set up against nothing. There is nobody on my other side, and you try and prize check. And you count or set a timer for 2 minutes, and you just constantly go ahead and re-roll your hands and try to check your prize cards. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope it has been helpful. If you do have any questions about how to prize check or specific scenarios, please leave them in the comments. We address every comment, so we'll make sure to do that. And as well, again, if you haven't already, go check out the shuffling tutorial both in the description, and if you check out our page in playlist, you'll see a list of all of our tutorials. Currently only 2, but that is still great. So this has been how to prize check. Our next video will be how to prioritize sequencing and how to make the most of your hands that you get in Pokemon. So thank you all so much for watching again. My name is Andy. This has been Controlled Chaos Gaming's tutorial on how to prize check. We'll see you guys next time.